Welcome to another exciting episode of the Business of Digital podcast, featuring your hosts, Matt Siltala and Dave Rohr. Hey everybody, excited to be bringing another one of these amazing Business of Digital. I can't talk today, Dave.
It's not a Monday.
I know. I don't know what my problem is, but maybe the fact that I have my baby graduating from high school today, but as the day that we're recording anyway, so there's that. So I apologize to all of our listeners in advance for anything that I do that's out of the ordinary. So I won't start crying on you, though, I promise. So, but I'm actually excited about what our topic today, because I think a lot of just a lot of how I started to grow my name, Dave, and just getting it out there and more people knowing me and networking and things like that. I think that I can credit it back to this topic that we're going to talk about today. And that is on Twitter chats. And if you've ever participated in any kind of Twitter chat. Now, I actually used to do very heavily the SEO chat. I don't know if you're familiar with that one.
There's a couple. Yeah, there's a couple SEO type ones.
Yeah, this one is just strictly just SEO chat. And that's the hashtag. And that one was started many, many, many years ago. And, one of the things that I just wanted to kick off right from the bat, because, a lot of questions that we get from people are like, how do I grow my Twitter presence? Or how do I use Twitter more effectively? Or what are some ways that I can use Twitter or different things like that? And so, one of my first recommendations always is some kind of a Twitter chat. And something that, when we were talking earlier that kind of surprised you a little bit was every time I've done one of these chats, whether it be an SEO chat or a social chat or, a digital type chat, whatever it might be, and we can discuss some of the ones that we've participated in and give a nice list of people on the blog post, when this episode goes live, so everyone can have that. But every time I do that, I pick up anywhere from 50 to 100 new followers. And from what I've noticed is they've stuck around too. So, maybe number one, I'm at least tweeting out stuff that's relevant to them or that they like. And number two, I don't know, maybe it's the beard. I have no idea. But anyway, so welcome. And that's what we're going to be talking about today, Dave.
It's always the beard. It might be now, how many Twitter followers does your beard pick up?
Now, I haven't paid attention to that with Twitter chats. I mean, maybe if I can find like a beard chat and I can do the beard chat from, I don't have, just so everybody knows, I do not have any access to that beard account. I didn't
we do
create
know who owns it though.
We do. And so, maybe it would be fun to have him be on that at some point because he's much more wittier than I am.
He's a troublemaker.
That
manager person.
He is. And so, anyway, getting back to, why I recommend, especially, anytime someone comes to me, and I'm sure you have people that do this to you as well, Dave, they're, hey, I want to learn about social media, or I want to learn about SEO, or I want to learn about whatever it is, like, where can you send me? And so obviously there's a few go-to blogs that I give them, like go check out A, B, and C. But then one of the things that I'm always recommending them do is go to Twitter and follow certain chats. Or I tell them, hey, these guys do a chat every Friday at 10 o'clock Mountain Time or whatever. Follow this. And this is where, follow this group and this chat. And this is where you can even get a lot of your questions answered. Because a lot of times, and this is what people, don't realize some of the value with them is, let's say that you have a question. There might be 30 or 40 SEOs on one of those chats, and you ask a question. People are more than willing to help. And now I'm not saying like every answer is going to be amazing, but I guarantee you're going to get someone that answers the question and someone that knows what they're doing.
And I'm trying to, I'm trying to think. So SEM Rush does a chat, and they have different people come on and they talk about SEO. On Sunday nights, I forget who manages it, and I follow them, and I always see it because they promote it. There's blog chat, and all they do is talk, and they pick up a different topic each week, and it's literally just a Twitter stream of people using that hashtag. Excuse me, of talking about blogging. And it could be, how do you do your keyword research one week? Or the other one is, how do you get guest posts? Or how do you, what is your flow from idea to finish? And each week they talk about a different topic for blogging. So it's not just SEO, it's not just social media. I know PPC chat, Susan and a bunch of people that we follow and are friends with are always on that PPC chat. And some of them, I think, even help facilitate it.
Yeah, Luke Alley, he's our actual VP of operations at Avalanche, but he started out as our director of PPC, and he was one of the OGs, if you will, of PPC chat. And I've had many conversations with him where, that's been so valuable. He's had a certain problem with something PPC related, and so he just gets up on Twitter, gets on the chat, hashtag, PPC chat, and asks the question. And this isn't even during one of the regular chats. It's just, him using the hashtag properly. And people, come with several suggestions and offering of solutions to the problem that he's having. And he loves it. And so, that's an added benefit right there, just in and of itself, And
you can even start your own. You don't have to have a meetup. One of the things that for me, meetups has always been interesting. I've gone to a couple in the Chicagoland area, but unless you physically are near one, you can't get there. And then you're also limited to the number of people that might show up. And there might only be 8 people. And like you just said, he was using it, PPC chat, in the off hours. Now, a meetup or a conference or any other type of event that's physical happens at that specific moment. You can't do that with a Twitter chat or whatever the hashtag is for any of them. You can, like he was doing, you can do it at any time.
So you bring up a good point, Dave. Let's chat about this for a second. You're saying anyone can do a chat. So let's give them some ideas of ways that they could get that out there, or they could promote that. Again, I'm just trying to think of a specific topic, but nothing's coming to my mind, off the top of my head. But just whatever your topic is, create a chat around that. But then when you get it out there, how do you promote it? I'll give you some thoughts that I have. Obviously Facebook, you have, your non-business following. Everyone has a personal following. You could put it out there saying, hey, anybody that's related to or that's interested in this specific topic, join me over here on whatever day at whatever time, and we're going to be discussing this, and we're going to be talking about solutions, problems, things in general. And if anyone's interested in that's in this industry, join us. You could also create images that you could put on Instagram that kind of promote it and get it out there, as well as Twitter if you have any kind of a decent following. Or even if you don't, this is where the use of hashtags can come in. Use the proper hashtags that people might be looking for, some of the popular ones, whether it may be on Instagram or Twitter. So those are some of my thoughts as far as just how can you start to get the word out for free or cheap about these chats and starting to get them
I just found, popular. Bless her heart, awesome
ideas.
Ann Smarty years ago wrote 5 steps to hosting successful Twitter chats. So I'll drop a link in there.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
But I know there's been, and I'll also drop a link into a site called tweetreports.com, which has a Twitter chat schedule. So, for any type of
I like that.
This one is 30-day list building challenge. It's, business topic, techniques and strategies to build an email list in 30 days. And it's on Tuesdays from 3 to 4 Eastern time. So, there's one about social media. There's a bunch of different ones. Agriculture, healthcare, adaptive chat. I'm sure there's ones about Twitter, chat bots probably going on, and, Bitcoin, and just basically advertising. Here's Ad Chat, which is advertising pros and students welcome to discuss design strategy and industry trends. Sundays from 8 until 9 Eastern. So, any type of topic, just like there's almost anything you can want to find on the internet, there's probably a Twitter chat about it, or you probably could start it and at least find a small group.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I was also going to say,
there's
also not just finding leads, but just if you're trying to learn, whatever new business, or you're trying to, you can also do competitive research to see what other people in your industry are doing. If you're a realtor and you go into a realtor chat, or if you're a realtor, you could go into the blog chat, you could go into social media and see what other people in other industries are doing, which is for me also very, I think, helpful.
Well, sorry about that cough, everybody, but when you were chatting about that, it reminded me, I participated in a social media chat one time, and I was sharing, just some related, some related content to it. Of course, I'm going to talk about the social meowdia graphic. But the reason I bring that up is because I shared it, and there was someone on that chat that loved the visual so much, and they started asking questions about where we got it done. And I was like, well, this is what my company does. We create a lot of visual content. And then we actually signed them up as a client to do creative visual content. And so we got a paying client from a chat. And so not only is it good for leads, it could be good for sales. It could be good for branding and reputation. It could be good for just general community building. Let's say that you're trying to build a community around your business. I know that one of the hashtags that we have at Avalanche is hashtag Avalanche Gives Back. And it is and we haven't done a chat yet, but we've tossed around the idea. So it's interesting that you and I are having this conversation. But it's a thing that we started for, with charities and giving back. And we give our employees a certain amount of time in a quarter or whatever to spend where, we're paying their salaries, but we're letting them go and participate in the community. We're still paying them normal, like if they were working for us, but we're letting them take some time and go and give back to the community. And I was thinking that would make a amazing chat just in general about things that people can do for giving back to the community or agencies, things like that people can do and get tons of good ideas with stuff like that.
Well, yeah, I was just thinking
your thoughts on that. If
you're I'm trying to think of a different industry that we don't mention all the time. I'm looking at a picture of a person that works out all the time. A trainer, an athletic trainer. I just closed the list, but there might be a list in there for people that have health questions or people that are recovering from different, injuries, whether it's a knee or back injury. What questions are people asking on there? You could.
Yeah. Well, it's funny that you mentioned the fitness because, I've even participated in chats that I didn't even remember until now that you said that because I remember, one time when we first got this
the big workout machine thing,
machine lifting thing. Yeah. That thing that we have, what they're called escapes me. It's an Inspire weightlifting machine, but yeah, I actually found a Twitter chat where they were talking about different exercises, and I had a question about one. And so I got on there and I talked about different exercises that you could do for shoulders or whatnot. And I had tons of replies and people sending me videos and techniques and how to use it. And so that was huge and that was highly beneficial. And I've ended up following those people and I still follow them today. And and that's good for them, for their follower count. And, I see stuff that they put out all the time, and I'm sure that they're dropping affiliate links and things like that. So who knows if I've even made them money, but the point there is that opportunity has been there. They've done a good job with branding. They've done a good job with their personal branding.
Yeah,
I know about
you
them,
don't even
and
have
it
to
was all from the Twitter
participate.
chat.
I have a Google sheet using IFT that if anytime anyone mentions a hashtag, it basically scrapes it every 30 minutes and it drops all of the tweets in there. So I don't even have to be participating and following at that specific moment for some of those. And then I just go through and I read them every so often. Yeah.
That's
So if there's a
interesting.
couple of Twitter chats
That's
that
very
say,
cool.
you know, the Twitter chat you want to participate every week is from 6 until 7 on Sunday, but that's normally when your kids are doing something, or that's your quiet time, or that's always when you have a family dinner, or, you know, it's Mondays from 12 until 1, and you're like, well, that's my lunch break. I actually want to get, you know, some sanity. You can set up something like that, like a Zapier or an IFT, or, you know, there's others. I think there's some other solutions out there too that you can look at, just kind of monitoring and tracking that hashtag. And then going back when you do have time and having it either emailed to you or saved somewhere, and then just kind of reading. Or you can just search back in Twitter, and
that's really cool.
You can also find it that way too, with no setup.
Yeah. What are some of your favorite? I know like there's tweetchat.com, but do you know of some programs that allow you to follow those?
I haven't used any in the past,
for our listeners?
Which is why I usually just follow the hashtag. And then I'll create what I did with using IFT and Google Sheets and just save it.
Gotcha.
There was a tool,
and
I will drop a link to it.
Maybe Annie has some links in there too for those kind of deals as well.
Yep.
Or not Annie, and Smarty.
Man, I should have remembered to look this up before our call. Didn't think about it.
Well, that's all good. So anyway, if you're listening, we will do our best to drop any of those kind of links in our in the blog post on this later on, so you guys will have that as a resource. But just for me, kind of wrapping it up as far as tweet chats go. Number one, I love them. With me, they've worked the best simply for branding, like personal branding. Also, it's been really good getting our company's name out there. There's also been people, you know, that follow you. Like, let's say, again, I don't look at myself as a bigger name in the industry, but it's funny because people, you know, have told me that they followed me on a chat and they were actually able to interact with me and I answered questions. They've come up to me and told me this at conferences. And so, like, in a lot of cases, maybe you're able to have interactions with people that you normally weren't able to interact with. And so it's good for networking. It's good for getting your answers. You know, if you have questions to certain problems, you can get answers through these chats. Like I mentioned a couple times, or just gave you the examples of actually making money from it, getting leads from it. And so for me, those are reasons enough why you should participate. And it's funny, actually, as I'm chatting with you about this, Dave, like I'm thinking, man, I've just gotten busy lately and I haven't participated in as many of these as I need to be. And I need to go back and start doing this because, again, I noticed that the other day I was thinking, man, I haven't been building up as many followers on certain channels as I normally do. And come to think about it, about that same period of time, I haven't really been participating in certain chats and things like that. And so anyway, do it. It's a good thing. Those are my, those are my takeaway points.
Yeah,
and,
I just found keyhole.co does it. It's not the one I was looking for. Tweet Reach will do it. That's not the one I was looking for. What is it? It's driving me crazy that I can't think of what its name is. Because I had another tool set up. I will.
As soon as this podcast is over, everyone, he's going to remember.
Yeah, but I mean, I just use Keyhole.
Either way,
free.
you guys
it's also
will have
got some
access
paid.
to it.
You can do a free trial, but it tells you like who all the recent users are. Pardon me?
Does Hootsuite let you? Does Hootsuite let you?
What do I use? I use.
Anyway, it's not a big deal.
I mean, I track on. On Hootsuite, I use. Is it Hootsuite? Why do I have Owl? I have too many things on my phone. I do track a couple hashtags, but it's only on my phone, so it's not as easy. I mean, I could use I just don't log into it as well, but you can track different stuff. I think whether you participate or not, I think if you're ever interested in a topic or you want to see what people are asking about your whatever your vertical is, whatever your business is, look for people that might be talking about it and do some searches around Twitter. We'll drop a link into a list of all these different Twitter chats that are listed. You could also just do some searches in Twitter and look for that topic and see if there's any hashtags that come up, if there's any, frequent kind of people that are talking about it, and then start seeing if they join any, and just kind of monitor and poke around and look. And whether you do it to learn some new tool, whether you learn an exercise, whether you learn whatever, you're trying to advance yourself on, I think there's a lot of opportunity there. And every so often, we're all busy, but Matt and I both follow a lot of people, and I only completely forget that there's like an SEO chat or PPC chat or, some other chat going on. And all of a sudden I'll see something go by and I'm like, what are they answering? That's an interesting thing. And I'll start to dig into that, never ending hole. To figure out what the question is and stuff like that. But sometimes the question will be interesting. And what's even more interesting is just the varied answers that 15 people will give. Or the answer that sometimes it's a Q&A with a single person answering, and the feedback and the responses and then the back and forth from that answer that you can get are really interesting as well. Because you won't see that on a blog, you won't see that in a forum, and you won't kind of find that quick response and that conversation happen anywhere else that's documented. And so for me, that's the most interesting thing about it, is if I have a problem and, or if I'm just curious about what other people are talking about a specific topic about, I'll kind of poke around and go and look in there and see what is happening.
Yeah. Well, very cool. Hopefully this gives, people that maybe been on the fence about Twitter chats, or maybe never even heard of Twitter chats before today. Hopefully this gives them an idea and they can go forth and conquer now. And so, well, everybody, for Dave Rohr with Northside Metrics, I am Matt Siltala with Avalanche Media, and we appreciate you tuning in to this episode of the Business of Digital podcast. We do this weekly, and we look forward to having you check back with us next week. Bye, all.